wish the Gophers luck. But they are playing Air Force. I have to fly back home on one of their planes. So I gotta be careful about what I say. We've got some wonderful people who are here today with me, and I just want to make some special acknowledgments. First of all, your two outstanding senators, Senator Amy Klobuchar and Senator my great friend who was part of the Obama for President movement before I decided to run for president, R.T. Rybak, Mayor of Minneapolis. Mayor of the great city of St. Paul, Chris Coleman, is in the house. Your Attorney General, Lori Swanson. Your State Auditor, Rebecca Otto, is here. And one of the finest public servants in the country, my Secretary of Health and Human Services, Kathleen Sebelius. Also, the biggest Obama fan in the country is in the house. Michelle has a picture where she looks like Sasha next to this guy. She's a great supporter, and it's great to see you again. You know, I don't know if any of you caught it on television. You may have been watching So You Think You Can Dance. But Michelle loves that show. But the other night I gave a speech to Congress about health. And I have to say, I can already see that this crowd is a lot more fun. Just to speak to senators or representatives. I went to speak on behalf of the American people. You see, I ran for this office because I believed it was time for a government that once again made possible the dreams of middle-class Americans, that were looking out for ordinary people. Understands the quiet struggles that you wrestle with at the kitchen table when you're going through all the bills, or when you're lying awake at night at the end of a long day and trying to figure out what you're going to do about health care for your children, what you're going to do about the situation with your mortgage, worrying about how stable your job is, what's happening with the economy, seniors who are worrying about their retirement security. You know, and I know, that health care is one of those fundamental struggles. Because if you're one of the tens of millions of Americans who have no health insurance, you live every day just one accident or illness away from bankruptcy. And contrary to some of the myths out there, these aren't primarily people who are deep in poverty. A lot of those folks are on Medicaid. These are people who are working every day. These are middle-class Americans. Maybe your employer doesn't offer coverage. Maybe you're self-employed and you can't afford it because it costs you 3 times more in the marketplace than it does for big companies. Maybe you're one of the millions of Americans who denied coverage because of a previous illness or condition. No fault of your own, but insurance companies decide it's too risky or too expensive for you to cover. In the last 12 months alone, 6 million more Americans lost their health insurance. 6 million more. Today we received more disturbing news. A new report from the Treasury Department found that nearly half of all Americans under 65 will lose their health coverage at some point over the next 10 years. Think about that. More than 1/3 will go without coverage for longer than 1 year. We got to do something. It could happen to anyone. But I don't need to tell you that our healthcare problems don't stop with the uninsured. How many of you who have insurance have ever worried that you might lose it if you lost your job, or you changed jobs, or you had to move? How many stories have you heard about folks whose insurance company decided to drop their coverage or water it down when they get sick and need it the most? Every month, only to find out that their insurance company wouldn't cover the full cost of their care like they thought they would. We've all heard these stories. There's the father I met in Colorado whose child was diagnosed with severe hemophilia the day after he was born. Now, they had insurance, but there was a cap on their coverage. So once the child's medical